Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Akash Srivastava, DSC lead DYPCOE, and it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Praful Mohanan, who is ML lead for DSC DYPCOE, and Ms. Prajakta Mane, who is our associate lead for ML. So they'll be telling us about today's session, like what is ML and AI and how you can excel in it. Don't worry if you are a beginner or an intermediate level person in this field, you'll get to learn many new things here. So I ask Praful to take over the session. Over to you, Praful.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Akash. Yeah, hello, everyone. Good afternoon, maybe good evening. Thank you for spending your evening time for the first introductory session and your interest in the machine learning track. Very big and warm welcome to everyone. I am Praful Monan, currently the ML lead for DSC DYPCOE, and with me is Associate Lead Prajakta Mane for the same. Today's session will be an introductory one. We'll be touching on various aspects of intelligence and the term AI itself. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. Uh, so first we'll go over some objectives which will be holding throughout the year. Some basic terminologies that are used in ML and the meaning of the buzzwords like data science, deep learning, AI. What are all those? Then we will look at why the sudden hype happened. For example, suddenly everywhere it's AI, data science. We'll look at why it was the reason, and then we'll look at some important events in history which led to this event. Then we'll look at the present scenario of the AI world. Then we'll make a machine learning model in the browser itself. Then we'll have a Q&A and a short break. Then again, we will start session 2. So first of all, those who didn't attend the introductory session, I laid out some objectives there. So prime objectives will be as follows, but not limited to only these. First of all, we'll work on demystifying the myth and the hype behind AI, ML, data science, deep learning. Then we'll take sessions on important topics and concepts with a specific curriculum. Then we'll help developers use machine learning. For example, there's an Android developer or a web developer who wants to use a machine learning model in their application. Then we'll help them also without having any mathematical background or such. Apart from this, some side notes before I dive deep into the session, that I'll be using a mix of both English and Hindi. So hope that's not a problem. Then for the Q&A, this is the URL bit.ly/ml-ask. So you can either use this URL or the URL that is listed here. Ask a question at slide 0 tab. You can use this URL to ask questions. After every slide, I will make sure that every question is answered. So let's move forward. So first of all, there are some certain terminologies that are good to know before we dive deep into the session. For example, अभी data क्या रहता है? Data can be any information. For example, उसके दो types होते हैं, discrete और continuous. अभी discrete data मतलब जो 0 और 0, 1 या 1 to 5 मतलब जिनके इंटरवल डिफाइन रहते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल आपका शू साइज हुआ तो शू साइज सपोज 1 to 12 रेंज करता रहेगा. 12.5 या 1.6 ऐसे तो नहीं रहता ना, तो दैट इज डिस्क्रीट डेटा. देन देयर इज अदर डेटा कॉल्ड कंटिन्यूस का मतलब दिस कैन टेक एनी वैल्यू. फॉर एग्जांपल height of a person, it can be 132.4 centimeter, or it can the price of a house 400.44 thousand, something like that. So it can take any value. That's the basic difference. Discrete has a specific interval, 0 or 1, like true or false. It's not like 0.5 and 1.5, 0 or 1 or any. It has a definite interval. Continuous, it can take any value. So this is the basic terminology. Then we'll look at what is dataset. So dataset is just a tabular format in which we have compiled some information. For example, ये फर्स्ट टेबल में जो दिख रहा है इसमें डिड द पर्सन गेट एडमिशन. अभी अगर मेरे मार्क्स 84 थे तो मुझे एडमिशन मिला. 1 का मतलब एडमिशन मिला, 0 का मतलब एडमिशन नहीं मिला. तो 84 जिसको मार्क्स थे उसको एडमिशन मिला, जिसको 66 थे उसको मिला, जिसको 45 थे उसको नहीं मिला. सो दिस इज डिस्क्रीट डेटा, 1 और 0 में वेरी कर रहा है, ट्रू और फॉल्स. तो ये एक टाइप का डेटा सेट है. अभी इसमें हम इसको x मानते हैं और इसको y मानते हैं सपोज. फिर उसका दूसरा डेटा सेट है, जैसे मैंने बोला हाउसिंग डेटा सेट. इसमें हमें हाउस का एरिया पता है 100, 152, 175 वैसे. तो 100 एरिया रहेगा तो प्राइस 2000, 152 रहेगा तो 22 समथिंग इन पॉइंट. सो दिस इज कंटिन्यूस डेटा, दिस इज डिस्क्रीट डेटा. तो अभी आपने मशीन लर्निंग में यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड something called model. There's something called model, right? So what is that model? We'll look at what is that model. So model is just a black box. Call it black box और उसको मॉडल बुलाओ या फिर ब्लैक बॉक्स बुलाओ, इट इज द सेम. तो अभी इसके अंदर क्या है वो नहीं देखेंगे हम, बस इसमें ये देखेंगे कि हम उसे ये दोनों देते हैं, एक्स देते हैं और वाई देते हैं. जैसे हमने एक्स और वाई दिया वो हमें कुछ तो भी आउटपुट देता है वैसे. अभी सपोज अभी मैंने ऐसा मॉडल बनाया जो मैंने अगर मार्क्स इनपुट किए तो मुझे वो बताएगा कि इफ आई एम एडमिटेड और नॉट. फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने 43 एंटर किया तो मुझे 0 आउटपुट देगा. तो अभी ये जो डेटा सेट है ये सिर्फ डिस्क्रीट और कंटिन्यूस में वेरी नहीं होगा, कुछ भी हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जांपल कैट का इमेज है, सपोज मैंने इसको इमेजेस है मेरे पास, सपोज कैट और डॉग्स के इमेजेस है और मैं कुछ एक कैट का मॉडल बना रहा हूँ. सच दैट जो भी ब्लैक बॉक्स में मैंने अगर कैट का इमेज डाला तो मुझे आउटपुट 1 मिलेगा. अगर मैंने ब्लैक बॉक्स में डॉग का इमेज डाला तो आउटपुट 0 मिलेगा. जहाँ पे कैट है वहाँ पे 1 है और जहाँ पे डॉग है वहाँ पे 0 है. तो मैं एक्स और वाई फीड दोनों फीड कर रहा हूँ और ये आउटपुट दे रहा है, और इसका कुछ सेंस नहीं बनता ना. मतलब मैं सिर्फ एक्स फीड करूंगा तो मुझे आउटपुट देना चाहिए. तो इतना ही है कि हम उसे एक्स फीड करते हैं और फिर वो बाद में वाई आउटपुट देता है. तो ये है मॉडल, मतलब यू फीड सम इनपुट यू गेट सम आउटपुट, दैट्स इट. फिर उसके बाद हम अभी मल्टीपल इनपुट्स भी रह सकते हैं. जैसे अभी मैंने यहाँ पे सिर्फ एरिया कंसिडर किया है. अभी सिर्फ एरिया के ऊपर से तो प्राइस नहीं होगा ना, प्राइस डिटरमाइन नहीं कर सकते हम. अभी और भी फीचर्स रह सकते हैं जो प्राइस को अफेक्ट कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल आपका हाउस का लोकेशन हुआ, नहीं तो फिर आपके हाउस में कितने रूम्स है, तो वो मल्टीपल इनपुट्स भी रह सकते हैं. तो देयर कैन बी मोर देन वन इनपुट वेरिएबल. फिर उसके बाद अभी अपने बड़े बड़े डेटा सेट्स के नाम है जो मॉडल के लिए ऑलरेडी मतलब इंटरनेट पे अवेलेबल है. तो उसमें से एक दो के नाम पता रहना जरूरी है. जैसे देयर इज एमनिस्ट. एमनिस्ट इज बेसिकली अ फेमस डेटा सेट वेयर हैंड रिटन नंबर्स के इमेज है, मतलब 1 2 3 4 5, और उसके वाई में वो इमेज है और फिर वाई में वो नंबर क्या है. सपोज 1 का इमेज है तो 1 का इमेज एक्स में है तो वाई में वो 1 है. सपोज एक्स का वाई मतलब एक्स का इमेज 5 है तो फिर वाई में 5 है आउटपुट में. इमेज नेट भी है. इमेज नेट में कैसा है कि देयर अराउंड 1.5 मिलियन इमेजेस है उसमें टोटल, और हर इमेज का आउटपुट है. मतलब सपोज एक पर्सन पर्सन के 10,000 इमेजेस रहेंगे और उसका आउटपुट पर्सन रहेगा. तो फिर देयर लाइक इमेजेस ऑफ कैट और डॉग्स और उसका आउटपुट रहेगा कैट और डॉग. वैसे वैसे टोटल अभी अराउंड 10,000 क्लासेस है. मतलब एक क्लास मतलब एक पर्सन, फिर उसके बाद डॉग, फिर उसके बाद कैट, ऐसे 10,000 टोटल ऑब्जेक्ट्स का डेटाबेस है बहुत बड़ा. तो दैट इज वन ऑफ द फेमस डेटा सेट. आई होप दैट्स क्लियर. देन we'll look at so I hope the black box and the model you have understood that. सो लेट्स गो टू ट्रेनिंग. अभी ट्रेनिंग क्या होता है, आपने सुना रहेगा कि मॉडल को ट्रेन करेगा, ट्रेनिंग द मॉडल. तो होता क्या है बेसिकली, आप उसे जो इनपुट है, सपोज इमेज है नहीं तो फिर घर का एरिया है, वो भी फीड करते हो और क्या आंसर आना चाहिए वो भी फीड करते हो. दोनों फीड किया मैंने. सपोज मैंने फीड किया घर का मतलब घर का एरिया फीड किया और घर का प्राइस दोनों भी फीड किया, और वो ब्लैक बॉक्स कुछ तो भी कंप्यूटेशन करके ये बंदा जो है वो आउटपुट निकालता है. फिर ये जो आउटपुट है ये यहाँ पे पेनाल्टी वाला बंदा ये क्या करता है कि बेसिकली आउटपुट को एक पेनाल्टी लगाता है. मतलब ये बोलता है वो वो देखो y देख, अभी ये बोलेगा कि ये y देखो, ये y तो शर्मा जी का बेटा है, वो कितना अच्छा आउटपुट दे रहा है, तू अच्छा आउटपुट नहीं दे रहा। तो फिर ये पेनाल्टी को देखता है, पेनाल्टी का सुनता है, फिर वापस इस ब्लैक बॉक्स में जाता है और कुछ तो भी ट्यूनिंग वगैरह करता है, मतलब उतना डीप में नहीं जाएगा पर उसमें कुछ तो भी ट्यूनिंग वगैरह करता है और फिर वापस आउटपुट देता है। जब तक इस आउटपुट और इस वाई में जब तक एकदम डिफरेंस एकदम कम रहता है तब तक हम ट्रेनिंग करते हैं। तो ये रहता है कि ये रहता है ट्रेनिंग का, ठीक है। अभी टेस्टिंग, अभी मैंने ट्रेन कर दिया, अभी मैंने सपोज 10 घर का डेटा मैंने सपोज अवेलेबल किया, फिर उसके बाद 10 प्राइजेस है मेरे पास, 10 एरिया है मेरे पास, उसके साथ मैंने ट्रेन किया। फिर मैंने क्या किया, मैंने दूसरा कोई तो भी मतलब डेटा लाया सपोज दूसरे कोई तो भी घर का, जो ट्रेन करते वक्त मैंने दिया नहीं था। तो फिर क्या होगा कि वो मैं इंपुट करूंगा, सिर्फ सिर्फ वो घर का एरिया जो मैं ट्रेनिंग के वक्त देखा नहीं है। तो फिर वो मुझे आउटपुट करेगा कि उसका प्राइस क्या रहना चाहिए, मतलब जो उसने पहले वो डेटा को देखा नहीं है। तो फिर जो भी उसने पैटर्न लर्न किया डेटा में, सपोज इतने एरिया का घर, इतने दिस एरिया विल हैव दिस मच प्राइस, और देयर सम इट विल फाइंड सम कोरिलेशन एंड डिटेक्ट पैटर्न एंड देन give the output. So I hope the training part is clear. Then this is same where अभी मैंने जैसे यहाँ पे एक हाउस प्राइस प्रेडिक्शन का मॉडल बनाया, वैसे यहाँ पे मैंने सपोज कैट क्लासिफायर का बनाया। मैंने उसको कैट जैसे ऊपर मैंने जैसे दिखाया, मैंने कैट की इमेजेस भी फीड की और कैट के लेबल भी फीड किए, 1001, जहाँ पे कैट है वहाँ पे 1 और जहाँ पे दूसरा कुछ है वो 0। सो इन दैट वे वो ट्रेन किया। फिर मैंने क्या किया, और कोई कैट को ढूंढा जो मैंने ट्रेनिंग में प्रोवाइड नहीं किया, उसको मैंने इनपुट दिया और उसने आउटपुट दिया 1। तो ऐसे ये है टेस्टिंग का फेज। So I hope the terminologies are clear. If you have any doubts, you can go to this link and ask any question, or you can go to bit.ly/ask-ml. I'll move on to the next slide. So in the session you will come across many terms which will not make sense or make you worry. So don't worry about it if you don't understand. It's all right. You can either ask in the Q&A or speak up in the teams. Okay, great. So yeah, this is portrayal versus reality of what is AI, deep learning. I mean, most of us people who aren't that like don't know about that much AI, think that the AI is going to wipe out humanity, build terminators and humans, and like and then this is a meme. What my friends think I do, what other computer scientists think I do, what mathematicians think I do, what I think I do. But already in reality you are just importing a library and just calling model.fit. It's not what actually happened. This is just a meme, so just laugh it off. Okay, great. I'll move on to the next slide. So there's this huge term discrepancy. मतलब difference क्या है, AI, machine learning, deep learning, data science. अभी let's look at AI. All right. अभी AI में आते. Is this visible?
It's visible, Praful.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about one by one. First of all, we'll look at AI, and I'll then define an example. As you can see, this is a Venn diagram, right? So AI has machine learning, then machine learning has deep learning, then data science has some part of it, right? So in AI, we'll look at some examples which are not included in machine learning or any of those. And in machine learning, we'll look at some examples which are not included in deep learning, which is that we'll look at this part. Similarly for AI and machine learning. So let's look at AI. So what is AI? Like even like artificial intelligence does not have a clear definition. It's not like Terminator will AI will give rise to a Terminator and it will kill all humans, something like that. Even AI researchers do not have a clear definitions of AI. Like words such as intelligence, it has a very deep meaning. For example, when can I consider the robot or a machine or a computer intelligent? अभी समझो, अभी मैंने कैट क्लासिफायर बनाया सपोज, अभी वो कैट को डिटेक्ट कर रहा है, फिर उसके बाद मैंने आई स्टार्टेड ओके ठीक है, मैं अभी एक सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार बनाऊंगा, तो उसमें मुझे एक रोड रोड डिटेक्टर चाहिए सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल। तो मैंने क्या किया, मॉडल को मैंने बहुत सारे रोड की इमेजेस फीड किए, तो रोड लर्न करने लगा, रोड डिटेक्ट करने लगा। सो इज इट इंटेलिजेंट एक्चुअली? व्हाट इफ I am traveling and suddenly there's a man in the middle of the road who is wearing a shirt which has the image of a road? Will he run over? How much confidence do I have that he will stop or not run over that man? So there we have to be very clear about how we define intelligence. So what I like to see or define AI as, it is set of methods able to perform certain tasks with precision similar to or better than a human can. So you will find numerous definitions, but this is a general idea. So let's look at example. We looked at how a model is built or how an input is given, right? So let's look at an example of AI. So in machine learning, we gave the model the input as well as the output, x and y, right? And we told it to give us y such that the error between the input that is y and the output that I get is less. But in AI, what we do is we give some rules, we define some rules, and then we also give it input. We give some rules and also some input, and we tell it to define an answer. For example, सोचो आपके टीचर ने आपको मैथमेटिक्स के बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल दिए और उनके सॉल्यूशन दे दिए डायरेक्टली. So you have been given some like rules and some input, and you have to find an answer. We'll look at an example, knowledge base. So I don't think that it's a very clear definition. So let's play a game. You may know or not know this. So let's play a game. There are two types of people, knights and knave. Knights always tell the truth and knave always lies. Okay, knight, whatever knight is telling, it is always the truth, and knave always lies. So there's a person A who says, I am both the knight and the knave. So who is A? Can anyone just try? Try. You give a try. You haven't seen this, I guess. Hello.
Yeah, Praful.
Yeah. Could you give this game a try?
No, I think.
Anyone else? It's easy. There are two types of people, knights and knaves. Knights always tell the truth and knave always lies. So you have to find out. There's a person who says, I am both the knight and the knave. So who is he? Is he knight or a knave? There are only two choices.
Yeah, Praful, can I give the answer to this?
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Speak up.
Yeah, is it knave? Is the answer knave?
Yeah, it's the knave. Yeah. So a person cannot be knight and the knave at the same time, right? So if A was knight, then what he's saying is, if the knight is saying I am both the knight and the knave, so he's contradicting himself, right? So he can't be the knight. So the only option is that he's a knave. That's the only option where the statement becomes false. It's a bit hard to wrap your mind around it, but that's all right. It's just basic logic. So let's try another hard one. This is a little bit harder. So there are two people here. A says we are both knaves, and B says nothing. So who are A and B? Is A knight or knave, or is B the knight or the knave? Can anyone just give it a shot?
A and B both say knave.
So, Praful,
A is
Yeah,
knave
yeah,
yeah,
and B.
A is a knave and B is a knight.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct. So basically, A is saying we are both knaves. But as we know, if if A was a knight, then he has to tell the truth. I am the knight, or the B is a knave, right? So A is contradicting himself, and that's why A is the knave. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, great. So B says nothing, right? So if B was the knave here, so since A is the knave, the statement has to become false. When does the statement become false? When B becomes the knight, right? So how exactly did we arrive at this conclusion? We used some simple logic, right? So that's how it is. We used some rules. We had some rules. The knights always tell the truth and knave always lies. So we can maybe define this statement right here in the form of logic statement. For example, uh, if uh, the for example like this, if knight is the person is the knight if and only if he tells the truth. The person is a knave if and only if he tells the lie. So what we do, if we could program this actually. We could define such set of rules that a person cannot be a knight and a knave as logic statements, right? In using and, or, and negation. And similarly, we can say that if a person is a knight, he has to tell the truth, and if a person is a knave, he has to he has to lie. So using this set of rules, we arrived at the conclusion that A is a knave and B is a knight. So that's what the one of the knowledge based algorithms of AI does. It uses a certain rules, like what we define, what we give it in the form of logic statement, right? And we give it some input, this kind of statements, and then it gives us the answer. It how it does arrive at the answer. वो क्या करता है basically? It enumerates all possibilities, such that where this the rules we gave are true, and where the input are true. It finds a statement where the rules are true as well as the input is true. That's how the knowledge based algorithm works. I hope that's clear. And this is an example of uh, uh, AI algorithm, which is not a ML algorithm. I hope that's clear. So let's come to machine learning now. So machine learning is also a subset of AI. The basic definition here is that it is the science of getting computer to act using algorithm without being explicitly programmed. Right? There are different types of tasks. For instance, I want to recognize the image or a category. Like I said in the previous slide, we have to predict house. We have to predict the price of a house, or we have to predict the what kind of object it is. Is it a cat or is it a dog? There are many kinds of algorithm which come under machine learning. We'll look at some as we go further. Then deep learning. So what happened is that machine learning, we had a huge amount of data, and machine learning algorithms they didn't use that the juice that comes out of the data to model the relationship between complex things. For example, to detect a cat, actually we need to use a deep learning algorithm. So what we did is, uh, we'll see what deep learning is. So basically deep learning is basically हमने पहले क्या देखा था कि इनपुट रहता है, एक आउटपुट रहता है, और फिर होता क्या है कि अंदर कुछ तो भी एल्गोरिथम रहता है जो हमें आउटपुट ट्रेन करके देता है. What happens is deep learning is, in machine learning there is a input, there is a layer, and there is a output. In deep learning, think of it like this: in machine learning there's an input, then there is a layer, then there's the output. In deep learning there's input, layer, output. So it's like deep learning said we need to go deeper into it. So As you can see here, there's this black box, like I said, and there are small black boxes of different structure. We won't go into the details of the structure, but this is the basic general idea, not what it actually looks like. There is a black box, and inside there are similar kind of small black box, which model the relationship. So that's it about deep learning. So what is data science? So data science is seen as an interdisciplinary field which comprises of this AI methods, this ML methods, the deep learning methods, domain knowledge, statistics, software development. The goal basically in data science is using data to extract meaning and some output out of it with a well-defined goal. I hope the difference and the term discrepancy is clear now. I'll wait for some time. If anyone has question, they can just go to this link and drop their question here. Okay, great. So in this session 1, we will be looking at mainly machine learning. So basically, there are three kinds of machine learning, types of machine learning. One is supervised, reinforcement, and unsupervised. So supervised is basically you give the input as well as the you give x and you give y. You give the input as well as the output and tell the learning algorithm to model some relationship out of my data. So for example, we saw image classification where I gave many images of cats as well as dogs. फिर मैंने उसको लेबल्स भी दिए कि जहाँ पे कैट है वहां पे 1 है और जहाँ पे डॉग है वहां पे 0 है. So it will do what? It will try to model some relationship such that the output of the model matches the y input that gave it. So that's it about supervised learning. There are two types of supervised learning: classification and regression. So in classification, mainly discrete data is used. Like I said, if you remember, discrete data is 0, 1, 2, 3. For example, I want to classify a multi-class classification. For example, I want to classify, is it a dog, is it a cat, or is it a cow, or is it someone else? Suppose 4 classes, then I will use a classification algorithm. And in the regression, we basically use the continuous variables. For example, the price of a house or the height of a person or the salary of an employee. So we use, for example, I want to predict the height of person given his whatever features that affect height, for example, weight or BMI, such kind of things. So that's regression, in where we use continuous data. In classification, we use discrete data. I hope that's clear. So unsupervised. In unsupervised, what we do is basically we give the data to the model and we tell it find some relationship. I don't care what you find, but find some relationships. I will not explain this in detail right now, but Prajakta will go into detail with some very interesting applications. Reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning में basically उसका एकदम abstract concept बताता हूँ. Basically what you tell is एक सपोज 5 साल नहीं तो 2-3 साल का बच्चा है, उसको बोलेंगे कि सपोज ये नहीं करने का. अगर मैं सपोज 5 साल का बच्चा है, अगर if you do the homework, I'll give you a chocolate. If you don't do the homework, I won't give you the chocolate. Suppose we tell it. So it will, the 5-year-old will start doing random things and it knows, okay, I am not getting the chocolate, right? So it will what it will do is, okay, he'll do the homework, then he'll get the chocolate. So he knows the next time he does homework, he'll probably get a chocolate. That's the like basic concept behind reinforcement learning. It is used in robot navigation, game AI, and in using real-time decision. We'll go over a very interesting application later on in this session. So I hope the types of machine learning are clear. Supervised, where we give the input and the output. Unsupervised, where we give just the input and we tell it to relationship ढूंढ के निकाल. Then there's reinforcement learning. If you do the correct action, I'll give you some reward. If you don't do the correct action, I will not give you the reward. I will subtract your reward. Actually, there are this is just one algorithm in reinforcement learning. There are multiple algorithms in reinforcement learning. So I hope this part is clear. So why the sudden hype? Why all of a sudden everybody started like, okay, let's get into AI, data science? There are many factors affecting it. For example, Moore's law, GPU power, data, digital age, everything. Also, there are some important events in history which led to this. Let's go back in time to understand that. So maybe you know this person. This is Alan Turing. He's a very well-known computer scientist. In fact, there is no Nobel Prize in computer science. There is only the highest form of award, which is called Turing Award. If you are in third year or second year, you may know him. So he was the first person to mention, like, can we make computers that are intelligent? And he said, what we want is a machine that can learn from experience, and the possibility of letting the machine alter its own instruction given the mechanism for this. So what he said, that what we want is a machine which will learn from experience. It will perform actions and then learn from experience, and we will also give the chance for the machine to alter its own instruction given some mechanism for this. So he was also famous for the so-called Turing test. So Turing test में क्या होता है? Basically, there is a human person who is the interrogator. Then there is a computer. Uh, Imagine it's a chatbot or a computer or a AI. Then there's a other human person, and this interrogator एक room में बैठेगा और वो दोनों human और जो भी एआई मेथड जो भी है, मतलब चैटबॉट रहेगा, नहीं तो जो भी रहेगा, उसको वो क्वेश्चंस पूछेगा. इफ पर उसको पता नहीं रहता कि हु इज द ह्यूमन एंड हु इज द चैटबॉट. So interrogator has to ask question through a computer screen to both of them. For example, are you human or not? The human or the AI can either lie or tell the truth. So after subsequent rounds of questioning, the interrogator tries to distinguish who is the human and who is the computer. And if the interrogator fails to identify the computer, then it has passed the Turing test and the computer is remarked as intelligent. Many bots after that some have passed the Turing test, but this is a well-known idea in AI. He also introduced a concept of training a network of artificial neurons. So he was the first person of telling that what if we encode that black box that we are talking about in the form of neurons, of how the human brain works. For example, if you have studied biology, you may know, like, there's a neuron and there's a dendrite, there's kind of a pipe, and there's a big circle kind of thing, and there are multiple neurons connections elevating from that, right? फिर वो बहुत सारे मल्टीपल न्यूरॉन्स के साथ कनेक्टेड रहता है, फिर वो कुछ तो भी आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करते, फिर देन उसके बाद इंफॉर्मेशन पास हो जाता है. तो एलन ट्यूरिंग सेड दैट व्हाट इफ we were given a method to train a network of artificial neuron to perform specific tasks, and he named it as connectivism, and today it is known as deep learning. I hope this part of this slide is clear. So we'll go to the next slide. So another remarkable invention in around like 1957 was that of the perceptron. So it was the world's first neural network. So let's see the perceptron. The projector is visible.
Yes, Praful.
Great. So this is the perceptron. Perceptron was inspired by how the brain functions. He was the first person. Frank Rosenwald was the first person to design this. So what he said, like I said, the input can not only be one feature, right? Not only rooms or area. It can be like I give the number of bedrooms and I give the number of rooms, the house has, the location of the house, like multiple features. So what I do is I encode this input into the network, and then it gives me some output. So perceptron was inspired by how brain functions. So what happened was, after this, many were skeptical about this method of that this doesn't work actually, and this was what led to something called AI winter. Basically, where nothing was, not much resource was invested in AI. We'll look at that. So this is what happened, and at that time there was a method to train this. This was a one layer perceptron. You can train this. Train मतलब वो जो मैंने जो पहले दिखा वो पेनल्टी वाला बंदा वो आउटपुट को बोलता है कि तू जो इन वाई जो दे रहा है उसके जैसा नहीं दिख रहा, तो तू कुछ तो भी जाके इसके अंदर कर ताकि यू कैन मैच द आउटपुट एंड द इन द वाई वेरिएबल गिवन, राइट? So that is how it was trained, but there was no method of training multiple layers at that time. So we'll see forward as we move forward. So there was another, this is a very important and interesting concept. This was a research published by Hubel and Wiesel. Like, this was one of the most important concepts which laid the foundation of computer vision. So what happened was, researchers and biologists used to think that अगर एक कैट को एक फिश देखा, अगर कैट ने एक फिश देखा, अगर नहीं तो फिर अगर एक पीस ऑफ मीट देखा तो वो एक्साइट हो जाता है, राइट? तो आई एम हैविंग बैड नेटवर्क क्वालिटी. प्राजक्ता, इज माय वॉइस ऑडिबल?
Yeah, it's not breaking. Clear.
Okay, great. So as I was saying, मतलब तभी रिसर्चर्स को क्या लगता था कि जो भी कैट या जो भी ह्यूमन एनिमल रहते हैं, हम डायरेक्टली कोई ऑब्जेक्ट, सपोज मैं अभी मेरे लैपटॉप को देख रहा हूँ और प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा हूँ, आई द न्यूरॉन्स ऑलरेडी देयर इज वन न्यूरॉन व्हिच ऑलरेडी फायर सेंसेस, हाँ भाई, ब्रेन को बोलता है ये तेरा लैपटॉप है. तो researchers thought that even cats see, or that they detect fish. Okay, great, there's a fish there or there's a meat there, and it starts firing neurons. Okay, I want, but that's not how it actually works. So what they did was they anesthetized a cat and inserted an electrode in its brain. Our neuron emits electric. So what happened was there was no computer at that time, so they used a projector. So in this projector, what they did was they showed the cat some slides, some fish का दिखाया, फिर उसके बाद मीट का दिखाया, जो भी cat को पसंद रहता है. But they did not observe any movement, in the electric signals or in the brain. So one day what happened was, वो जब भी इसमें से प्रोजेक्टर में से स्लाइड्स रहते थे, ग्लास के स्लाइड्स रहते थे, तो जैसे उसने एक स्लाइड ऐसे, जो भी रिसर्चर था उसने एक स्लाइड ऐसे निकाला, तो उधर एक ऐसे एज फॉर्म हुई, ऐसे एज फॉर्म हुई. तो एज फॉर्म हुआ तो तभी क्या हुआ, द कैट्स न्यूरॉन फायर्ड. देन ही ट्राइड अगेन, देन ही inserted another slide, and then when the cat saw some shape like something like this, the cat, so the vision doesn't start directly from कि मैंने ऑब्जेक्ट देखा, मैंने लैपटॉप देखा. that isn't how perception works. परसेप्शन ऐसे वर्क होता है कि स्टार्टिंग में ऐसे कोई न्यूरॉन्स रहते हैं जो एज को सेंसिटिव रहते हैं. मतलब इफ यू लाइक, आपने अगर कोई ब्लैक एंड इमेज को ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में ट्रांसफॉर्म किया और सिर्फ उसके बॉर्डर्स ड्रॉ किए, सिर्फ एजेस ड्रॉ किए, तो वैसे एजेस, कोई न्यूरॉन्स रहते हैं जो एजेस डिटेक्ट करते. फिर उसके बाद उस एजेस में से फॉर्म होके थोड़े छोटे ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनते. सपोज मेरा लैपटॉप के एजेस है, फिर उसके बाद कोई तो भी वायर्स है, फिर दूसरा न्यूरॉन पूरे लैपटॉप पे से कंस्ट्रक्ट करता है, फिर दैट इज फेड इनटू माय ब्रेन. दैट इज व्हाट आई सी. We do not directly see this. So just remember that the concept of vision starts from edges. We'll see, just remember this is important. Okay, I hope this part of the slide is clear. If you have any questions, you can go to this link and type your question. It's great. So like I said, the perceptron, there was no method of training, multiple layers. जैसे मैंने deep learning में दिखाया कि multiple layer रहते, तभी ऐसे method नहीं था. तो फिर, और there was so much like enthusiasm about AI before 1970, right? AI will change they will change everything, and the media, right? So that's how it works. So there was no output during that time, so it went to like loss of funding, like nobody wanted to invest. And another reason, I think, in my opinion, was that Moore's law. If you have studied if you have studied computer architecture, you may know Moore's law. Like every 18 months, the number of transistors double, right? So the laptop or mobile you are using right now to view this presentation is damn powerful than what was at that time. So that's it about AI winter. So I think around 2006 or early, what happened? Jeff Hinton, one of the godfathers of AI, he revived backprop. Backprop is this algorithm which is used to train multiple. Like I said, when Perceptron was first released, there was no there was no method to train multiple layers, right? So look at this. Okay. So look at this. This is the black box. Consider this as a black box, and this is the output, and this is the image. Like I said, image can have multiple variables. Imagine each pixel of the image as one feature. And remember the cat experiment, I told you that the basic concept of vision starts from edges. So what happened? This is a paper from 2011 by Andrew Ng. This is a convolutional network in which the pattern that उसको ये पैटर्न उस मॉडल ने लर्न किया रहेगा, राइट? तो वो उन्होंने विजुअलाइज किया कि कैसे दिखता है. तो बेसिकली देखो सबसे स्टार्टिंग कहाँ से है, मतलब there's an algorithm. It's not brain, it's not biological. The algorithm does not have brain, it's just wires and chips, right? So it starts from edges. Interesting, right? In the cat experiment, it also started from edges, remember that. And the convolutional neural network, which we call the black box, we visualize the black box, how exactly the black box is looking. So it first visualized edges, in the car, right? Small edges. Then it started to construct parts of cars. For example, the wheel, the window, then there's the tire. Then after that, it used this to construct a bigger image of the car. So the like I said, the neural network is inspired from the brain, like how brain functions actually. So this is how a deep neural network sees. I hope that's clear and gives an interesting intuition of about how it works. Let's go on to the next slide. So like I said, this was not done overnight. Somebody, I was having lunch and I have an idea. Okay, let's revive backprop. It required years and years of effort. Same goes for this field. You may find it flashy and interesting, but it takes time to learn. And there's another important event in history. In 1950, around 1958, there was I think before 1958. Around 20 years ago, I guess, there's an algorithm called support vector machine, which was, which is a very famous algorithm for classification. Classification means identifying if it is it or is not 1 or 0, right? So it was published 30 years after the researcher developed, because what happened was he was in Russia where there were no computers at that time. Then he immigrated to America. Then I think he was called by Bell Labs. Then he published the research paper called support vector machine. So good things take time. It's not like you saw this lecture and you become an expert in machine learning. No, that's not it. It requires practice, determination, and hard work. So let's go to the next slide. So as I said, where are we now, right? We went from like classification. We started from Alan Turing, and we are now in 2020. So there's this. If you know, some gamers may know this game. This is Dota 2. OpenAI is a for-profit organization who invests in AI. So they did basically what they. If you know Dota 2, it's a very complex game. It's not like chess or tic-tac-toe, where there are definite moves. You know what is going to happen 2 steps after if the person plays this or this, right? Dota 2 is not like that easy. So they defeated the world champions in Dota 2. I think around it was 2011, and that was OpenAI. Then now the most trending, the recent GPT-3. It's a NLP, natural language processing paper. So I won't go into much detail about this. If you want to visit this link, I'll put this link later. So if you visit this link, you will see there's a article which is written, right? So it is a very normal article, nothing fancy. And if you after you read 2-3 paragraphs, In the fourth paragraph, the author of the article writes that this article wasn't written by me; it was written by GPT-3. So you won't even be convinced that the article is written by a robot. And then, like I said, we'll be looking at a reinforcement learning example, hide and seek. This is the link to a YouTube video. I have grabbed some screenshot from there. So starting में मतलब hide and seek में क्या होता है कि this red guy जो भी है वो starting में एक place में rooted रहता है, यहाँ पे जैसे rooted है वैसे. फिर वो he tries to catch the blue guys and in the starting he वो ट्रेन करते एल्गोरिथम. जैसे मैंने बोला कि हम ट्रेन करते, ट्रेनिंग किया, मैंने आउटपुट दिखाया, फिर उन्होंने पैरामीटर चेंज किया अंदर, वैसे रीइंफोर्समेंट लर्निंग में. तो फिर स्टार्टिंग में ये रेड वाला हमेशा इसको पकड़ता था, ये जितना ही भागते थे रेड वाला पकड़ता था. फिर थोड़े ट्रेनिंग के बाद क्या हुआ कि दे स्टार्टेड टू यूज द initially he's blocked, right? So they had time, so they do what, they use the structures, yellow boxes to block the door and then he cannot catch them. Then after that he sees, ये देखता है कि ये कैच नहीं कर सक रहा. फिर ये क्या करता है, he uses the RAM to get over the wall. Interesting, right? फिर ब्लू वाले देखते ये तो रैम्प यूज कर रहा है, फिर रैम्प भी ले लेते. ऐसे कोई भी इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं था कि डू दिस, दे डिड दिस now after training millions of iterations. So फिर बहुत सारे इटरेशन ट्रेन किए और ये इटरेशन को बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है. मतलब if you they OpenAI may have the capability to do this, but this is me, like while my model is training, I just have to stand around and see when it finishes. So you may be wondering, all this is exciting, but where do I actually start? Are there any prerequisites? So let's see. So to begin with, there's never a clear pathway to start. There are some prerequisites, like high school math. You should know basic linear algebra and calculus. We have made a GitHub repository here in the learning resources. Prajakta, is this visible? This page?
No, GitHub repo is not visible yet.
Now?
Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have these are some courses that I found interesting when I was learning. I have not done all of them, obviously. These are some resources. If you are need a quick revision of linear algebra or calculus, 3 blue, 1 brown is very good. Then into machine learning and deep learning. Also, one caveat is that I would always recommend starting from machine learning, because there are many problems which can be easily solved by machine learning using algorithms like random forest, ensemble, stacking, all that. So if you have your basics clear, how to do optimizations, then it's after that it's good to start deep learning. I'm not saying it's all do start with machine learning. Choose your own way. So I've given some interesting here. So there's another CS229 by Stanford University. This is a great one if you are interested in especially computer vision. Then there's a reinforcement learning from DeepMind's David Silver himself. Then there are some books that are interesting and very useful. Then there's a roadmap. Obviously, there are multiple skills that you require if you want to be a machine learning practitioner. You should know how to deploy the model, make pipelines, scrape. Then there's a complete roadmap here, which makes you go step by step. Then always the best way of learning is anything is by doing. So Kaggle, Driven Data, all these are competition platform where you can showcase your skills. So I hope this part is clear. So next is that we'll create a machine learning model in the browser. One second. So these are the classes like 1 and 2. One, like I said, classes are nothing like if I have a cat and dog image, then I have two classes. Cat के बहुत सारे images है मेरे पास और dog के बहुत सारे images है. So what we will do is right now we'll train a model right in the browser. So what I will do, what I will create a model which will differentiate between my hand sign saying 1 and my hand sign saying 2. So I'll just take some samples here. Now maybe add some variations to it. Add some more samples of 2. Now this is 1 second. I will label this as 1. I'll label this as 2. This is me displaying 1 and this is me displaying 2. तो लगता है दिख रहा है ना?
हाँ, visible है.
Okay, great. So I'll train the model now. It's preparing the data. Using this model, you can create. It is super easy to create a state-of-the-art classifier. If you have something like many variations of image. I have only you could take the picture of one outside in the sunlight or in a darkened room. So the more robust your data is, the more kinds of pattern it learns. So I will see. Yeah, output दिख रहा है नीचे का 1 और 2.
हाँ, आगे परसेंटेज ऑफ एक्यूरेसी.
अभी मैंने 1 किया है तो 1 पे 100% दिखा रहा है और मैंने सपोज अभी 2 किया, 2 पे 100% दिखा रहा है. अभी हमने ऐसा डेटा इसको 3 नहीं दिया है तो ये 3 का क्या करेगा देखते. ये 3 को स्विच हो रहा है 1 और 2 में, 1 और 2 में. 1 का ऐसे कर रहा है 1. इंटरेस्टिंग राइट. तो ऐसे ही आप यहाँ से डायरेक्टली इस मॉडल को, ऑब्वियसली ये मॉडल स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट नहीं है. स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट मतलब सिंपल वर्ड्स में बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म करने वाला. बहुत फर्क इतना पड़ता है ना. सपोज एक कंपनी में आपने फेस रिकॉग्निशन का इंस्टॉल किया गेट पे सपोज, और फिर फेस रिकॉग्निशन बहुत सारे लोग कर रहे और हो रहा है. एक दिन क्या हुआ, वो रॉन्ग डिटेक्ट करने लग गया. फिर आपने देखा कि बैकग्राउंड में एक ट्री था जो मतलब जो गायब हो गया, मतलब किसने तो भी काट दिया ट्री को. इसकी वजह से मॉडल वर्स परफॉर्म कर रहा है. तो मतलब बहुत सारे वेरिएशंस रहते हैं कि आप डेटा को वैसे करो. यहाँ पे मैं सिर्फ एग्जांपल दिखा रहा हूँ. तो यहाँ पे जैसे देख सकते हैं, दिस इज you can directly export this in browser using this JavaScript. They have literally given the code here, and you will find the documentation here. It's very easy to create a model just like that. This is all about teachable machine. I think it was published in Jan 2020 by Google Brain team. Very interesting. This, like, we can literally create any model in the browser without having any mathematical experience or knowledge about the mathematics behind it, right? अभी इसके बाद so this is end of session 1, and we'll have a short break of about 5 minutes. We'll start again at 5, and meanwhile we also have designed a quiz, so you don't get bored. It's a Kahoot quiz. Go to kahoot.in and enter this pin, and then you will and the quiz is very interesting and funny, so please go through it. If you have any questions, do go to this URL and ask. We'll take a 5-minute break. Akash, are you there? Yeah.
Can you just put the bit.ly link for this slide Q&A also, if possible?
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Just copy and paste it there also, so both the links are present together.
Yeah. And Praful, sorry to interrupt, but I guess it's kahoot.it, not in.
Okay. Great. I'll edit it.
Okay.
So Akash will take a 5 minute break and then start again at 5. If anyone has questions, we are open for Q&A at bit.ly ml.ask ml/ask. Sorry.
Well, um, hello,
Hello.
Praful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not working. The Kahoot, the ID is saying it's wrong ID.
They're saying wrong ID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
one
check.
second.
Just check. Yeah.
I think the Kahoot pin changed or something. Akash, could you try now?
Yeah, sure, Praful.
Prajakta, is it working now?
Yeah, this one is working.
Yeah, great. Akash, let me know when you finish the quiz. We'll start the next session.
Yeah, sure, Praful. So I guess Praful, we can proceed further.
Yeah, sure. I think Shreyas won the quiz. First is Shreyas, second is Akansha, and third is the primer. I don't know who that is.
Hello, wait for 1 minute. I'm trying to solve the quiz. Wait.
Yeah, okay. Let me know when you finish.
Yes, okay. Done. Done from everyone. My side.
Okay. If anyone is still playing, let me know. We'll wait for a while. I think everyone is done. So, Kaushal, I think you ranked first, Shreyas second, Akansha is third. Okay, Prajakta, can we start the second session?
Yeah, sure. You can. Just don't close the Q&A session. Yeah, I'm using this.
Yeah, I won't.
Uh,
I will stop sharing then.
yeah, you can stop sharing. So, is it visible, Praful?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So Praful has introduced a brief about what's the history of AI and ML, that how actually everything come up. So I will be telling you the ML in technical terms, like how actually the programming and the what's the logic we generally use when we are building any model or anything in ML. So firstly is that if you people could just go at this Bitly link, because it would be an interactive session. So like there will be some questions that I would be asking, and I need your people's help. So just go at this link if possible, so that I know what you peoples are answering. So basically another thing is that you can unmute yourself if you want to ask anything, if you didn't get any point, and also you're attending this session for some cause. So just try to get everything out of it, whatever you feel. So let's begin then, and I will move forward. So this is the basic agenda what I would be covering. First, I will be giving you what's the insight of ML in technical terms. We will be seeing that how actually it's working, and then we will be exploring the hello world of ML. Right? For every programming language, we begin with the hello world program. So similarly for ML, we have a hello world program. We will do that, and after that I will be telling you example of that how industry is using ML to maximize their profit, and also how we are getting personalization everywhere at every field through Netflix and Instagram example. And further I will be telling you that what are the future plans of we have planned for the members of DSC in our domain. So let's get started. So first thing is that everyone knows rock paper scissors game, right? Or stone paper scissors game, whatever you say it. So so the question that I want you people to ask is that if you're introducing this game, that you want to play a stone paper scissors game with a child, then what would you do? Like how would you tell the child that what exactly how the stone paper scissors game is played? You can just put your answers here, or either you can put yes or no if you know this game. Otherwise I will tell you how stone paper scissors game is played. So if you people can type in there. This is the bit.ly link, bit.ly/ml.ask. Okay, at least you can type yes if you are using this link. Okay, no, if you are not even able to answer this question, anything. Yes, played. Okay, that's great. So I will just move forward that how actually if I was at your place and I was asked to introduce this game, that how stone paper scissors game is played. So what would be the first thing that would have come up to my mind would be that I will ask them to recognize the various symbols which are shown, that how exactly a stone is shown and how exactly a paper and a scissor. Like for showing a paper, we generally keep our palm as our symbol, and for similar for scissor we make a victory symbol, and for stone we keep our all the fingers together. So this would have been my first step, that I will tell them how every symbol means and have made them to recognize. And the second thing that I would have done, that I would have tell them rules. Okay, if your opponent is making a scissor, that's a victory symbol, and if you are making a paper, then you would win. And similarly for paper and stone, all the possible combinations I would have told that child that okay, these are the symbols and these are the rules, and it would hardly take 10 minutes and 2-3 trials for the child to know how exactly a stone paper scissor game is played. So you found that it's so easy for human beings to do this, right? Now let's assume a condition that you don't have anyone to play with you. that there is no one to play rock paper scissor game with you, and what you decide that you will play this game with your machine, okay, and that you are trying your machine to learn this game, that how to play a stone paper scissor game. So let's try plan the steps that how our machine will learn. So the first step for even making our machine to learn would be that I will ask my machine to recognize various hand postures, and then I will tell my machine the rules. So let's see what problems we face even in the first step. So we while making our machine to learn, we found out that okay, there are so many hand color tones available, and also not everyone is using the same symbol for paper, like it's not possible that every time the paper is having all the five fingers closed enough to each other. Some people are making another thing for paper, and some are making another. Similarly for Caesar, not every time everyone is making two is showing up two fingers, and sometimes they are showing third fingers also. So these are some problems that our machine faces, and even that everyone is not having the same skin tone color. So even if we take some basic example set, and we had made our machine to learn them, then also it will be very difficult for a machine to make the hands recognize. So this was the first problem that we faced even while we were making our machine to learn stone paper scissor game. So let's move forward now. That's the core concept of machine learning and AI. What actually we do is that we are trying to make our computers learn the same way as humans do. For humans, it was very to capture out the stone paper scissor pattern, but for computers, it's getting difficult. So in machine learning and AI, what we are trying to do is that we are making our machines enough intelligence that they learn the same way as humans are doing. So let's now this is the core concept of machine learning and AI. Now another thing is that okay, so we will come back to our example now. Suppose that we figured out something for that thing, and we have data as well as rules associated with it. So what actually, if we use traditional programming approach, so what actually is traditional programming? We write Fibonacci series programs and factorial, right? Those programs are our traditional way of solving a problem, that we have some input, we provide the rules, and we expect for an answer. But for example, in this case of our stone paper scissor game, what we would have done, we would have provided with data of different hands which we have, and then we had provided a separate set of rules. For example, if the hand is having all for example, we take for a paper, all the fingers are closed enough. So I will mention a specific set of rule for that image, that okay, if such image came, this is the rules which it is satisfying, and therefore it's a paper. In this way I will program it. But at some point of time, as of my data will goes on increasing, the rules will also go on increasing, and it will our code will become a billions of line code, and also the system would crash, and it's also not guaranteed that the answer which we would be getting is right. So that's where the traditional programming failed, that it was not able to make our machine in intelligent. So then we come up with the machine learning thinking, that how we will make through machine learning learn our machine. So this this box is called black box, which Praful was actually talking about. I am also taking the same reference, that this blocks right now you don't need to understand anything inside it, but just assume that it's a model. And we are providing in machine learning approach, what we do is that we provide data along with answer, and let our machine to figure out the rule. It's reverse what we actually do in traditional approach. So basically what we do is that we provide suppose we are providing a Caesar victory symbol data, and then at the time of providing the data, we are providing answers also. Okay, this image stands for a Caesar, and then we are asking our machine, do whatever way that recognize anything what you do from the image, figure out the rules by yourself. And this process is also called as training, that we are making our model to learn by itself. So that's the machine learning approach that is used. Now I will be telling you that from the past lines I am telling that data is used, data is used. So just I will give you the view of how exactly our data would be for a stone paper scissor example. So this is the tab. Yeah. So Kaggle is a data science platform where we have data sets which are shared by various peoples, and also kernels are present for various problems which are solved, and also competitions are organized here. So let's see this rock paper scissors data set which this person has shared. And he has also mentioned that these images were captured as a part of a hobby project where he was developing a rock paper scissors game. So he is also having same problem, seems like that we are facing. So we will look how its data set look. So for paper, you can see that there are different hand posture which this person has captured. For all of them are but representing a paper, and similarly for Caesar, he has got collected all the different finger examples, but all of them are representing a Caesar. So this is the machine learning approach. We at the time of providing our data to the model, what we would do is that we would make a vector sort of thing, and for paper we will put one at the first place and the remaining two would be zero if we are using a only one row to represent it. Similarly for rock, one will be present in the middle. In the Caesar, one will be present at the end. So this is machine learning approach. We are providing data as well as answer, and then our machine captures a certain pattern from it and gives us the valid answer, that whether it's a stone, whether it is representing a stone paper or a Caesar. So this is one thing, that what actually machine learning is. Machine learning is nothing but pattern recognition in the data. Once your model is self-learned and enough intelligent to recognize the pattern which it captures in the data, that's machine learning. So now this is a very interesting example. So you people can see X and Y values, right? These are X values and Y values. So the thing is that you just have to figure out the relationship between X and Y. What's the relation you can see? Okay, basically you have to find a equation of a line which will satisfy these points. You can just type your answers at this link. Let's see who can do this. I will give some time to just you get the pattern between X and Y. Okay. So is anyone able to figure out the relationship? I will show the data set again. So what I'm asking is that this is X value and this is Y value. We used to find out a line from the 2 points, just use that concept here. Praful, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. So, okay. Someone has replied y equal to 2x plus 1. Yeah, that's right. And Shreyas also. And Akansha and Pratmesh. Yeah. 2 times x is y. Yeah, you just forgot about a 1. That's also correct. A bit correct. So, yeah, that's the relationship. Okay. So, for human, it was easy to figure out that for every x, the y is increasing twice plus 1 increment is there. So that's the pattern we figured out from this data set which we're having. Similarly, we can do this in ML approach. So I will tell you that how this can be done in machine learning. This program is called Hello World of Machine Learning, where we have some X data set, and these are also called as labels, and we have Y which are answer for it, and we are trying to figure out the relationship or our rules which we have explained, which we have seen earlier. So I will open the Colab. Okay, what actually Colab is, it's a browser where you can train your ML model and you can even share them. So it's opening. Until that time, I will show you the presentation of it. Yeah, okay. So it has opened. Okay, so first we need to import some libraries. that we would be using in machine learning. So these are the libraries: TensorFlow, NumPy, and Keras. You don't need to worry about these libraries if you are not knowing. We will be covering this thing. So from the question, you figured out that what our x value were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are our data, or the labels we can also say, which we are providing to our model. And what are the answer which we expected were our y value. And I have explained earlier that inside the black box, what we put data and the answer, and we expect for the rules that our machine will figure out the rule. And in this case, our rules would be the relationship. So now we are ready with our input values, which we will be giving to our model, that are x values and the data and the answer values. So now we will make our model, that black box wala thing. So how to make a model right now? Don't worry about the syntax. I will just tell you that it's a one layer neural network model, and which is having a one neuron. So just forget about it. Just remember that we have made our model, that black box is ready with us. Now after making a model, the another thing comes up is that compiling the model. So what actually it means that we want to make our model improve, right? We want it to learn. For that, we provide our model with certain loss functions and optimizers. So I will tell you what exactly a loss function does and what exactly a optimizer is doing through this example. So this was our straight line. This was our line which we had guessed that y equal to 2x plus 1. And these I have made the correct representation of the line, that these are x coordinate and y coordinate, and this is the line which we expected. So suppose that we had compiled our model, and now we had started training our model. In training, what our model does is that it makes a guess every time. It goes through our data and it makes a guess. So suppose the first guess which our model made was y equal to it made a straight line as a guess, a straight line parallel to x-axis. So this is the first guess which our model was able to figure out from the x and y relationship which we had provided. Now you can see that there is so much of deviation. The real value was this, and but the first case which our model has this as a real value. So this thing, the difference between the actual value and the real value, this is lost, and we try to minimize this error between the real value and the guess one which our model has used. And this deviation is nothing but loss, and right now we are using root mean square error as a function. So don't worry about this term. Just understand the concept that this is the loss thing. Now after one guess, we find out that the loss was very high. So we used optimizers. I told you that we are using optimizers. So now optimizer, what actually optimizer does is that it tries to minimize the loss. So the combination of loss and optimizers help us to get a better result. Now suppose the second guess which our model made was something like this. And the training, this everything is happening in the training step. In training step, our model keeps on making guess, and every time it makes a guess, the loss value is calculated, and then the error function is through the optimizers, the loss is minimized. And this was the another guess. This also is having a very high loss. So then our model made another guess. Suppose this is the another guess which it has come up with, and this seems a bit closer. And these steps happen. These steps keep on repeating until and unless we are satisfied with the loss and accuracy value. So we will go back to our Colab now. We compiled our model, means we give the loss function and the optimizer to our model, that these loss function I will be using for calculating the loss, and I want to use this optimizer, that is a sophisticated gradient descent, for in minimizing the loss process. So don't go over this term. Just remember that we need to provide our model that what loss function we need to use and what optimizer we will be using to minimize it. Now the training process starts here. So I am training my model for 50 epochs, which means that my model will go through the entire data set, that are x and y value, for almost 50 times. And for 50 times, it will keep on making guesses. And every time it makes a guess, we can see the lost value, right? So see, at the starting, when the first guess was made, the loss value was very high. It was almost like 61 something. And then in the next, it's decreasing. Similarly, if we go further below, it's continuously decreasing. You can see this means that our model is learning. It's able to figure out the relationship between data or the pattern in the data, which is nice for us, which we wanted it to. Now at the end, you can see that the loss is in some negative powers. So we can assume that it's working fine, that it has able to figure out the relationship between x and y. So now let's make a prediction in the sense our model has been trained and it has learned. Now it's time to check that if we are passing some value, what output it's providing. So I run all the cells because it takes time. That's why I'm not running on this at the same like lively. I'm not running this thing. So now I will make prediction that I am passing. Our model is learned now, and I'm making a prediction. For prediction, I am passed 10 value. So through our equation, which was y equal to 2x plus 1, prediction means if we are passing x value 10, which is unknown to our model, the output should be 21, right? Because it has now learned and it's enough intelligent to give us 21 value. But we find out that it's 20.97, not 21, because there is a certain loss which it was not able to minimize. So this thing is happens like every time we are not able to get 100% accuracy, and even if we are getting 100% accuracy, this means that our model is overfit. So okay, just forget about all this term, but remember there is a logic behind all this thing. But right now you see that even though we trained our model, it will not able to give us 100% accuracy. For 10 it should give us 21, but it's giving 20.97, right? But it's somehow very nice because there is a very minimum loss which our model has left out. Now this program is the Hello World of ML, where we find out the relationship between x and y. Now I will come back to our normal presentation. That I think that you got enough about this, that how exactly a model is built and how we are able to figure the relationship between x and y. Now I will move forward that how industry is using machine learning to maximize their profits. So the first example is of Netflix. So it's a very interesting example. So there are various ways in which Netflix is using machine learning, but right now I have taken only one example to illustrate you that how exactly ML is playing role in machine learning. So all of you see these thumbnails, right? Whenever you open your account, so you and your friend both are sharing same account, but you both will see different thumbnails, right? Someone the thumbnail will be this, whereas for other person the thumbnail will be this. How this thing happens that everyone is getting personalized thumbnail? So this thing has a very lot of ML behind it. So how exactly how in Netflix people come into the view that having a personalized thumbnail will impact their viewership. So in 2014 they carried out a survey in which they found out that almost 80% of 82% of user focus on thumbnails while they are browsing. So it's very nice because they want to maximize their profit, and this was a very key thing they observed, that if you are just giving a personalized touch to thumbnails, your clickable link on that particular series is increasing. So they started with this concept of personalized thumbnails. So how exactly personalized thumbnails work, I will just give a short brief about it, that how actually it is happening. So for every video series which we watch, Netflix is having the videos of that particular series. So what they do is that first they capture the static frames out of the video series they are having. Out of once the static frames are captured, like every video has is nothing but a frames, like, so they capture static frames out of them, and after they are captured they do annotation on them. Annotation in the sense they provide certain effects, like this you can see they are provided a background effect. Similarly they do this scribbling effect also, and this thing involves deep learning, that how to decide which effect would look better, and which part should be darker and which should be light. So after the annotation process is complete, what they do is that whatever thumbnails they have, they rank them. So how ranking is done? So for ranking also there are like not for this step there are not right now. I think you all people are having a certain idea about model, that what exactly a model does. So for ranking there are different models which are working. Always there is that for every purpose there is not a single model which is doing this doing everything for every purpose. For example, the first thing they do is that for ranking they find out similar user. For similar user, for finding out two similarity between two user, there is a one model present, and similarly for finding out this second wala point, there is another model which is present. So for finding similar user, what they generally do is that they go through your history. Like Netflix is having so many users, they use for finding similarity between two users, they try to grow, they try to figure out how these two users are similar. For this also, like there are algorithm whatever they use for I'm not telling that term. For example, cosine similarity or whatever other purposes or other matrix thing they might be using to find out the similar user between to find out similar user. Once a user which is similar to you is found, that that person is a having the same watch history as you, and you both are using the same thing, then they try to, it may be possible that that person has watched the series, they will show the same thumbnail to you. And another thing, this is one factor which is used while ranking the thumbnail. Another factor they use is actor that you is favorite actor, what you like. For example, Daniel Radcliffe, I assume that you all like someone is a fan of Daniel Radcliffe, and almost every series he's watching is having Daniel Radcliffe as a cast in it. So suppose if you are not going to watch that series, suppose it is having a different genre and anything, it doesn't suit you. But if Daniel Radcliffe is present in that series, what they will do that in the thumbnail you will definitely see Daniel Radcliffe. That's ML algorithm behind that. That they find out that what actor you is your favorite, and that actor is surely there in thumbnail. So this thing has a very like another I will be telling you that this personalized thumbnail, another example. What happened was that there was a black person, so the this thumbnail generation, personalized thumbnail generation algorithm was so perfect that that black person, whatever thumbnails he was getting, in that thumbnail there was a black person who was like, for every series who were in the cast, in the cast which were there in the series, if there was any black person, all the thumbnails which that black person was getting were having a black person as a main character in that thumbnail, even though person part of that black person in the show was very less, but then also in the thumbnail black person was present. So this is the way, like how algorithm once trained can go to some another level which they are not supposed to go. So this is one real life example, and another example, I hope it's clear to you. And Praful, am I going fast?
No, your speed is good.
Okay, so yeah. So I will move on to next example. After Netflix is Instagram. Okay, so Instagram is a bit secret person. Like he never really reveals what algorithm, how exactly it's using. But in 2019, Instagram has shared some fact about the explore option. We all see the explore option there. So they have shared that how exactly a brief idea about how the explore option works. So what they do is that first they like there are billions of people on Instagram and everyone posts, but you only see but in explore option you see what you like, right? So what actually they do is that first they find out the seed account. So what actually seed account means is that these are the accounts which you have followed, or you have saved their post, or you have liked their post, or you have chatted with them. These all are seed accounts. So they track your seed accounts, and after they know that okay, these 10 to 15 accounts are your seed account, they try to search similar account to them. Now what different Instagram is doing is that for finding out the similar account, they are using word embedding. Okay, so word embedding is a like it's a modeling and feature learning technique used in NLP, so don't go over it. So they generally use word embedding, which is a very different approach for finding out similar account. because generally the algorithms which are used for finding similar account are a bit different, and they come up with a different idea, and they're using this to find how two accounts are similar. They don't aim on finding similar posts, they aim at finding similar accounts. Once they find out the accounts which are similar to your seed account, they go for post content. Like 500 posts are selected out of the seed accounts, out of the similar accounts which they have found to your seed account. Now out of this 500 post, another Instagram again uses machine learning to do filtration of this post. So what exactly they do in filtration process is that they carry out they just remove the spam post from it, and also they remove the posts which are not supposed to be there. Like if they are sharing something which should not be shared, such type of thing are removed from the 500 posts which are selected. And for spamming is also a very nice problem in ML, that how to classify whether a mail is a spam or a not. So this thing involve NLP. So they go out for filtration. After filtration, the post which you have, they do ranking for the post. Based on ranking, also for ranking there are other criterias, like how much time you have spent on the like reading same type of post, how much time you have spent. These are certain criterias they keep for ranking, and after ranking only top 25 posts are there which you see on the explore tab. So there is a lot of ML behind it. And also on the first, whenever you log in, the post which you see, like it may be possible that at the same time two people are posting, but which post should be there first? For that also, they track your chat history and how much time you people had interacted, or from how much your past history. They track that thing to tell that okay, this should be given the first privilege, this post should be appear first, and then next would appear. So this is how ML is used in Instagram. So another thing, okay, I have explained like almost, I have given you a lot of insight that you might be now getting a bit intuition about that what actually happens in this field. So this is another very important point to remember whenever you enter in ML world, that there is never always a sole way to solve a problem in machine learning world. For example, I said you that we find how two accounts are similar. So earlier there was some algorithms which were always used to find similar how two peoples are similar. But recently, some people come up with another algorithm. Yeah, that this algorithm is giving us better result than the previous one. So that algorithm is used now. So there is nothing fixed in ML. You can it's like you had never expected that this algorithm would work, but it may be possible that it would work. And also there is the second important thing is that there are several algorithms that fit, but you have to choose which one fit better. Fit in the sense what I showed you now, that after 50 I had used the error and the optimizer function in our hello world program in such a way that it was fitting better. Every time the loss was going lesser. So there are several algorithms that fit, but you have to choose that which one would fit better. So that's all, like about actually how it works in ML. Now this was the point till now, that this was the point what I wanted to tell you about this field. Now I will move forward to like what we will be covering in our sessions, which will be happening once you become a member of DSC for ML. So these are all the points which we will be covering. First, we will be covering the maths which is needed for ML. Then we will go for some classical ML algorithm implementation from scratch using various Python libraries. And this implementation, I sure that you will not found anywhere. Like we will be like these were some of the problems which we had faced, and we are trying for we will be helping you people that was the another approach that you would have chosen if you had to implement the same algorithm. So this is another point. And another thing is that we will be also covering hyperparameter tuning and create how ML pipelines are made for a model, and also transform learning and other things. So I know you are not understanding any term, but seriously this thing matter, and we will be telling you about that how to do this. And after that, we will be touching upon deep learning, that after ML, how you can approach for deep learning and the future path for it. So this is what we are trying to cover. Now the next thing is that how we will be covering it, that what path we will be following for the same. So first thing is that we will be following Andrew Ng's ML learning course on Coursera. So you might I don't know that you all know Andrew Ng or not. So he is the co-founder of Coursera, and also you can see here he's a co-founder of Coursera, and also he has co-founded deeplearning.ai. And why this course? Because he has explained every algorithm very nicely, and also he has given his own problem solving tricks, that what happens if there is a large data set. This thing you will not found in any tutorial. He has explained that he has seen how engineers face the problem and how frustrated they are when like for example, here at one point he has explained that some engineers spend almost 3 months and 6 months in gathering new data set, so that their model works better. If there is a more data set, this was the thing they were having in their mind. But actually there was no problem with the data set, the problem was with their model. They had not planned it correctly. So these are some tips which he shares, and there are many other things, like it's the most recommended course also. And apart from this, we are just asking you to watch the videos from here, and after that we will now you might be wondering that we can do this course also. So but what we will be doing for is that every week we will be keeping track of your records, and also there will be active learner for every week. And also we will be having a hands-on session after every algorithm which you learn, that how to implement it through Python as well as through sklearn. So sklearn is a Python library which has ML algorithm implementation in it. So we will be telling you that. And also these are some of the points from our side that we wanted to give you. And if you're worrying that what will happen in our next session, so this was introductory session. In the next session, what we have decided that we will be covering up Python brush up, and also we will be going up with the installation of IDs that we use, like Jupyter Notebook. And after that we will be covering some calculus basics and some math part which is needed, and their implementation. And now you will be wondering that okay, these all parts are to be covered, from where we will get the resources, like where to learn. So Praful has already shared this. We have made a curated list of resources that we will be using throughout this learning session. That's this GitHub repo which he has showed earlier also. We will be just taking reference of this repo throughout our learning session, like linear algebra. In the first session, if we are taking the maths, then these are the resources which I have already shared. So you don't need to go anywhere. And also we are giving our own personalized touch to everything that we will be covering. So that's I think you all might be clear, like what we are aiming for in this 2 months under ML domain. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Yeah, so we have a Q&A session, I think. Praful, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, if anyone has questions, they can go to bit.ly/ml-ask and post few questions. We'll try to answer them. Meanwhile, I just want to wrap up what all we covered in this session. So first we like looked at how ML, what is ML, what is deep learning, what is this buzz about these two things. Then we looked at how it is portrayed in reality, how it is portrayed versus actual what is happening. Then we looked at some important events in history. Then also we also looked at a point in history where AI was not that flourishing. Then we looked at the current GPT-3, which can write better content than a human, which launched in 2020. Then we also covered that what are the prerequisites and from where do I start. And Prajakta covered like how internally works and how it is used in the industry. So if anyone has questions,
Yeah.
they can post it here.
You can unmute yourself also.
Yeah, if you have any question.
Yeah. Should I share the form link, Praful?
Yeah, sure. We'll just put it in the group.
Okay, okay. Okay, this is the membership form which will you come up to you. Like if you want to learn ML domain in DSC, so you can just register here.
Yeah, you may have already filled the membership form in of the DSC club, but since you are allowed to choose only 2 tracks, if you want to take the journey with us of machine learning, you are more than welcome to fill this form. So I guess we don't have any questions.
Yeah, not checked it.
Okay, great. I hope everything is clear and now you have a clear idea of what is data science, deep learning, machine learning, AI. And I hope you become a part of this domain track. And uh, thank you for spending your valuable 2 hours with us and listening to us. I hope it was not boring and I hope we made it a little bit interesting. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah. Prajakta, could you join?